Today we're going to do some guided exam questions as a little bit of feedback on the 2022 mock paper that we did for junior sir. So this was question 1. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going to break it down what's asking for. It's what 15 marks. So you've got about 5 minutes to do this. It says complete the table below for the laboratory instruments shown. Now we're not going to look at the table just yet. We're looking at the 5 different instruments. Okay, so the first thing to note is that this instrument is called a mass balance. Okay, and we typically would draw it like this, and we might put something on top of it. It usually has a screen, that gives a readout of numbers, and typically might put something like a beaker on top and fill it up with stuff, maybe sand or salt, and it'll give us a reading in grams here, so maybe 100 grams. This is for measuring mass, and it's called a mass balance. So mass balance measures mass in grams. That's the first one, pretty straightforward. The second one is maybe a little bit difficult, but this here is, it's a device for measuring the length of short curved lines. So you maybe used this in class where you drew a squiggly line on paper. And what you do then is you take this device, which is basically a handle with a little wheel, and you start at the beginning of the line and you roll the device along the line. So you roll the little wheel along the line. And then what you do is you take a ruler and you put your device on the ruler and you roll it the opposite direction until it stops. And wherever it stops, then that'll tell you what the length of that curved line was. Okay, this here is called an pisometer, and its job is for measuring the length of short curved lines. So it measures length of curved lines. We could measure a straight line with it too, but that seems a bit silly because a ruler is easier to do that. But you can't really measure the length of a curved line with a ruler, so we can use an pisometer. Next one is we will connect this into an electric circuit. I see a V here. So V stands for voltage. We put this into an electric circuit and we measure the voltage. And that's why this piece of equipment has the name voltmeter, because meter generally refers to measuring things. So a voltmeter measures voltage. The next one, most of us will be familiar with that. That's a thermometer, and a thermometer measures temperature. This is a Bunsen burner, and what happens is that we connect this to the gas in the science lab. So the gas goes in here. It's a flammable gas. You light it on fire, and you get a flame up the top. And we can use that to heat substances then. So that will heat things for us. So it's called a Bunsen burner. The last thing, definitely should recognize this. This says 50 milliliters on it. Now, a lot of people, a common mistake people make here is that they think that this thing is for measuring. It's for measuring the amount of liquid. Now, see this word here, I don't know if you can make this out, but this word that I'm underlining, it says approx, and that stands for approximately. And that's because this isn't very good at measuring things. It's only roughly right. It's approximately right. So I wouldn't think that this is a good thing to measure an amount of liquid with. But what you can do is you can pour a liquid in here and you can store it. So while you're doing an experiment, maybe you need some liquid and you just want to keep it on your bench. You pour your liquid in and it's for storing liquids. You could say storing substances, but usually we use it specifically for storing liquid substances or liquid chemicals. And we call this a beaker. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the table and you're going to pause the video and you're going to fill it out. So copy out the table into your copy and fill it out. So I'm going to cover the pictures so you can't see the pictures anymore. And we're going to pause the video now and fill out this table. Do that now. Okay, so you should only be playing the video if you pause the video, copied this down, and done the answers out quick. If you don't do that, if you wait for me to do the answers, you're not going to learn as much from it at all. Okay, so very important you sit down, have a go, take you 2 minutes. Okay, this is what you should have. Digital balance, look, this is done for you already. It measures mass. Pisometer, what do we say that was for again? This is to measure the length of curved lines. Measure length. Measure the length of short curved lines. Okay, what about the measure voltage? What is that? Well, that would be a voltmeter. Well done, if you say that. Temperature, measures temperature. That would be our thermometer. To heat up substances, that's our Bunsen burner. And then our beaker is, a lot of people wrote this in the exam, guys, to measure liquids. Measure liquids. I would say that's not the right answer, guys. Okay, that's not good. It's just for holding or storing, you could say, holding liquid substances. All right, guys, so each of those was worth 3 marks each. So 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3, and give yourself a mark out of 15. So out of 15, what did you get there? And again, it's important that you have high standards for yourself, you're strict with yourself, don't give yourselves marks if you didn't get them right. All right, guys, so that is question 1, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll break down the next question.